Selin Kurnaz is our guest today on the Big Biz Show. She's a co-founder and CEO of MassiveBio Incorporated. Girl, she flew all the way from New York.
I do.
Me.
I do. Thank you very much, Sully and Russ, for having me in the show.
Great. So, first of all, I got to start off by asking you, because I was drilling down on your website.
Sure.
I think you could do a better job than anybody telling us. If you were to give us the elevator pitch, what does MassiveBio do?
Yeah, what MassiveBio does is MassiveBio makes cancer diagnostic and treatment accessible, affordable, and personalized for everyone around the globe.
Okay, so what does that mean specifically?
So what that means is we provide testing and treatment recommendations for cancer patients and their primary oncologists by leveraging our cancer genomics expertise. And I can explain you why.
Yeah,
so you figure out what they got and you pair them up with the doctor that treats that one the best, maybe?
Kind of. So basically we get the information from the cancer patients and then we reach out to their primary oncologists and basically gather all that information, and then we put that into a platform which is a combination of algorithms and basically a consortium of doctors, and we provide testing and treatment recommendations for the primary oncologist of that patient. And then after that, we help for them for that integration of that recommendation into their treatment strategy, and we help for reimbursement, and we also keep track of the outcomes, and we also show them what are the other similar patients or how they're being treated.
So here, for our television audience, the radio audience can't see this here, but it's a pretty good graphic on how the interface works for a patient. Is this a big challenge? I mean, of course, thank God I've had a couple of experiences with cancer with friends and stuff, but is this a big challenge for patients? Is this something is a big hole, a big gap in the
It is
system?
a lot of big challenge for the patients, and I can tell you why. There are three reasons why it's a big challenge. One is right now 85% of the people in the United States are not going into the large cancer centers where the most of the cutting-edge research resides.
Oh, I see.
They got the big machines. Why not come in here?
Yeah, so if you're living in Opelika, Alabama, the chances are you're not getting the best care you can get.
And also the oncologists are currently basically worked. They're dealing with a lot of patients. They don't have time. They don't have resources.
No.
And the amount of information about the diagnostic tests and the drugs are skyrocketing. And in the meantime, payers are pushing a lot of pressures onto the practices to provide more evidence and justification.
Okay, the payers, you mean insurance companies?
Insurance
So basically,
companies.
before they pay the claim, they want more. They want more juice saying this is exactly what's going on.
Well, because there are trillions of dollars of spending cuts that are coming, and in order to be able to do that, you definitely need to show a lot more evidence and justification why you're making certain decisions. They wanted to reduce the number of lines of therapy as much as possible.
And what happens
now? They don't want
now,
to keep the things.
You go in, and my father had cancer, and at first it was here, and then it was, we think it's here and here.
Yeah, they got to find it first.
They kind of, they were real.
Right now, the diagnostic is also changing very rapidly. So right now, it's possible to look at your tumor's DNA and identify what's exactly driving your cancer, and there are targeted treatments that are really working to cure those specific issues. However, that is still resides in these large academic cancer center, and it has to be captured, automated, and go to everyone around the world.
That's got to be more cost effective than if you're treating a melanoma internally or whatever.
Yeah, because
it might be the liver, it could be we don't know.
Because insurance companies got to love you, because at the end of the day, the 50,000-foot view is you're saving everybody money, because you're doing criteria specific recommendations, right?
Yeah. Well, we are basically helping all the stakeholders in this game. We're helping insurance companies because we are minimizing costs. We're helping basically the primary oncologists because we are arming them with the latest and greatest information, and we're a part of their treatment strategy team. We're helping patients enormously because we are basically reducing the pain on their side from both emotional and financially.
And the time spent looking around could be pretty valuable.
Oh, absolutely.
As the cancer grows.
That is so huge.
So get this stat. This is amazing. Worldwide, 15 million new cancer cases are diagnosed each year. 15 million.
That is correct.
And here's some. That's bad news. Here's worse news. Expected to rise by about 70% over the next 20 years.
20 years.
Why is that? I thought we're healthier. I thought we're eating better. I thought we're exercising more.
Yeah, maybe.
The hell?
We got the wrong food.
We're going down.
It's the McNuggets, isn't it?
It really is.
Those damn McNuggets.
I mean,
well, apparently everybody is not getting healthier, and the other thing is there is obviously an explosion in the amount of diagnostic. Probably there were a lot of people that were dying from cancer that wasn't diagnosed before, but right now we have the ability to be able to identify those people as well.
So when you say that these oncologists, and by the way, joining us in studio, Selin Kurnaz, she's the co-founder and CEO of MassiveBio, and you can go to massivebio.io. I'll tweet it out for you, put it on the Big Biz Show website. But when you say they're overworked, does that mean specifically that they can't keep up with the volume of patients?
That is exactly one of the reasons. So they cannot keep with the patients. They don't have the time and resources. And in addition to that, the amount of the tests and the amount of the drugs are really skyrocketing. There's no way to be able to keep track of all that information, analyze it, and also make it customized for each of their patients, because there's always a Google for something. But the important thing is how you can really customize that for the clinically information of that specific patient.
I'm going to keep you over here because I want to talk about, first of all, your specific product. They have a $1,500. They have an on-demand advisory service for $1,500, which is crazy cheap. But I want to talk to you about your business model, how you guys make money, and I want to talk to you about the product and stuff like that. Her name is Selin Kurnaz, co-founder, CEO of MassiveBio. There's a website for our TV audience, MassiveBio.io. Let's pull that up there for us, and then we come back. We're going to take a little look at the actual.
And I'll volunteer if you'd like to give me a physical, just to make sure that I'm healthy and don't need any services. I'm here.
Every time.
I'm here to
every
help.
freaking time.
There's
a female in the studio.
Thank you.
She doesn't have a stethoscope with her.
That's not important. I'll cough louder.
Wow. All right. Big Biz Show, bigbizshow.com. Follow us on Twitter at Big Biz Radio. Check out her website, MassiveBio.io. Big Biz Show, we're back in a minute.
I call you. You ain't in. What's this cold reaction? Where you been?
Selin Kurnaz, co-founder and CEO of MassiveBio, MassiveBio.io. I think the best way to describe this company is an oncology advisory company that sort of cross-tabulates criteria-specific treatments and doctors with patients, and that's there's a big hole in that industry. And as our TV audience is looking at the website here, MassiveBio.io, it talks about the virtual tumor board. It talks about a lot of great information. I have to ask you, so there's specific products you guys have. So let's talk to us about that. What do you got? What are you selling?
We have two platforms. The first platform is the one which we launched in June 2015, and there are three versions of that. So we have a basic advisor services that starts with $250.
Okay.
And then we have a $750 service which looks at what kind of basically diagnostic tests that you need to take for cancer, and then what's the interpretation of those tests, which is the 750 molecular oncology advisor services.
Wow.
Yeah, and then we have a 1500, which is a virtual tumor board, which looks at all of your clinical history, all the genomic information, and basically
and cross-tabulates the data and comes up with the best outcome.
Exactly. And
are you an IT company more than anything?
We are a combination of healthcare informatics and a network of expertise company.
Okay.
So it's not like just a healthcare IT company, because we overlay that with a fairly rich network of experts.
Does insurance cover some of that initial cost? That's
So
$257?
right
how do you make money?
Right. So right now the insurance doesn't cover that cost, but we are working very hard to basically make that is reimbursable. So that's the first.
To open their eyes to what.
Exactly. So basically, these type of services are for patients and the primary oncologists of those patients. Right now, it's out of pocket. It varies between $250 to $1,500.
Right. That's very little compared to all the other expenses.
And also, basically think through the amount of money that a typical cancer patient spends, because the way how they basically make the payments and the co-payments are much different than a typical patient out there.
And that's not cost prohibitive for a patient like that, especially knowing what the outcome is going to be.
No. So the other platform that we have is for the enterprises, which we're right now recruiting a pilot from mid-sized oncology practices or insurance companies.
Okay, so wait a minute. So this is an on-demand advisory service for the patients. Now you're talking about B2B over here, right?
Exactly. Our B2B is going to be commercial later this year. Right now we are recruiting a pilot, and that B2B would be either mid-sized oncology practices, because we do not want it to be replacing the large academic cancer centers. We're for the ones where the expertise and the knowledge is more required.
How is that adoption rate with the big cancer centers? Are they jumping on board with this idea?
So the big cancer centers is where we actually get the information, standardize it, automate it, and make it massive for the people around the world. But the adaptation is going to be in the mid-size and the larger oncology practices. That's our target market, and that's how it differentiates us from some
around
other.
the world. Are you just U.S. now? Are you?
So right now we have started with U.S. and then we have operations in Turkey. Last Friday we signed an agreement with China.
Wow.
And then we're also expanding in a couple of months in Brazil. So those are the three big markets that we have started. Yes.
All right. So before we let you out of here, we always want to know who's in the lunchroom. Who's running this company? So what's your background? What's your team's background?
Sure. Right now we have about 30 people in the company, 2 co-founders, myself and my business partner. And the rest of the company is a combination of molecular oncologists, molecular diagnostic scientists, reimbursement experts, programmers, oncology nurses, and clinical people. And this is a fairly multidisciplinary team. If you think about my background, so I've been in the business world about a dozen of years, basically working to improve the revenue, cost structure, and the capital structure.
She's a revenue enhancement person, Rusty.
Yeah.
She's good at making money.
Is it specific
I'm good at making money, and I have also delivered a lot of value to the investors because in my prior work, I was establishing a practice for private equity value creation. So I understand the pharmaceutical companies, life science companies, and basically the investor appetite.
Right.
And then prior to that, I was doing my PhD in University of Michigan.
She's a doctor.
Yeah. Well, I'm feeling sick. Come over, check me out.
And lots of engineering degrees. But the other co-founder is actually the scientist and the technology provider. And he is basically a nationwide known scientist for clinical molecular oncology.
Wow. So that Christmas party's got to be fun.
Yeah, that's going to be
Right. So we are basically the duo which combines the business side and science and the technology science together with a very, very rich team from large academic centers and academic institutions.
go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, next time I get to Turkey, I'll look you up.
Yeah, that's it.
I get over there every so often. Cruise ships dock right there. It's a beautiful country. It's the westernmost tip of the Asian continent.
Asia.
Yeah.
Wow.
People don't know that. I found that
Remember
fascinating.
Midnight Express?
Yes.
Remember that movie? That's how
Don't
Americans
bring that
sing a
up
turkey.
now. Yeah.
That's how Americans sing a turkey. That's how Americans sing a turkey.
I love turkey.
Hey, before you go, so you talked about these contracts. I'm assuming that's what the rest of 2015 was going to round out those contracts you signed with.
The 2015 is basically our launch year, and we have just started a massive patient engagement campaign, which we are involving oncologists as well. And also we are bringing a lot of incentives for the oncologists. And next year is going to be full of expanding our strategic partnerships, because we have strategic partnerships that we are launching with the payers, hospital chains, academic centers. And then obviously the 2017 is the year where we're going to have massive expansion around the globe in all markets for all products.
So you got this figured out already. you know where you're going.
We are.
What's your path to liquidity? You're going to go public? You're going to get acquired? What's going to happen? What do you think? I mean, if you could wave a magic wand, what would you do?
So if you're asking my personal...
Yeah, your personal. Would you like to get acquired, or would you like to go public, or would you just like to stay this and die in this?
Well, we probably would prefer to be public, but I don't think that the acquirers are going to wait that much, because we already have some people who want...
People are sniffing around now.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's going on
People who
here.
are trying to buy the company. And I think we will be an excellent addition to the payers and some pharmaceutical companies.
All right, very good. Selin, I appreciate you coming on here.
Thank you
Selin
very
Kurnaz,
much.
CEO of MassiveBio. MassiveBio. Show up the website one more. Am I saying it's right? MassiveBio.io?
MassBio.io.
MassBio.io. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Not only that, I think she's nominated for the coolest accent of any guest this year.
Fantastic.
I believe that goes right to the top of my list.
Either that or the chick from Alabama.